Hello.
Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. The show is about transforming lives one story at a time, and we invite people from all walks of life to come and share their heart stories, their stories of transformation and upliftment. And I'm super excited to share that we have an amazing guest with us today. She is a community activist. She's had many years of experience as an educator and a principal, and she's doing outstanding work for so many people. So please, without further ado, please welcome Ettie Rutherford, the founder of Women Are Worthy. Ettie, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine. And first, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we had a recent conversation on the TV part of the show, and well received on Afro Global TV. And now we're back for another interview. And I know so much has changed recently in the news in terms of education. And I know that you've got great views on what those are. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But first, for those who haven't really had the chance to get to know more about you, can you tell us briefly about your background leading up to what you're doing today?
Okay. Everyone got to know a little bit more about me when I published my book about 4 years ago, my memoir, starting with my growing up in Jamaica. And I'm an immigrant here in Canada, and I was born in Jamaica, and I came here after I had been trained as a teacher in Jamaica. I was raised by my grandmother, and she was the only white woman in my district. Her children were in the civil service, so she was able to send me to a prestigious high school, Manchester High School. And because at that time, very few black kids in Jamaica were going to high school. It wasn't until we got scholarships that the high schools had more black kids. I had always wanted to be a teacher from I was about 6 years old. So the plan was for me to leave high school and go to teachers training college. Unfortunately, a few months after I finished high school, I was pregnant, a teenager and not married. And the following year, I was pregnant again, a teenager and not married. And that was life-changing. I wasn't treated the way I wanted to be treated, but I realized that life had changed. The long and short of it is that I got married after and had a third son by the time I was 22. And then I decided to go to teachers college. My ex-husband was thoroughly against it. He wanted me to stay home and take care of the house and the children. I fought and I went to teacher training college. And then after that, I went to Alberta. They were hiring trained teachers from all the Commonwealth countries because they had found oil in Alberta and people were moving there from all corners of the world. So they were building thousands of houses and hundreds of schools. I went to Alberta and I taught. My husband and the kids joined me there. And after some years, my ex-husband left me and 4 children. And I kept on teaching full-time, received my master's degree from the University of Calgary, then moved to Ontario some years ago and ended up here as an elementary school principal. So that's my background in education.
Excellent.
Along with
No, I'd say that's really an incredible journey you've had.
Yes, because of my lived experience, and I've written all of this in my book. My book is Women Are Worthy. Why perch like a chick when you can soar like an eagle? And so my business for women is Women Are Worthy, because I see the need for so many women who have needed assistance just the way I did for me to assist them. So that is what I do. I've been working with women, coaching and consulting with women to assist them in achieving their goals.
You know, Ettie, even at this point in our life, 2020 has brought so many different directions to us in terms of, the pandemic and what's happened. We saw with Black Lives Matters, particularly with women. There's still a long way to go in terms of equity, in terms of just getting, respect in certain areas of our life. Why is it that it's just so slow in getting to that point of, where women are received in a certain way, and we still yet have to fight for certain grievances to overcome, like in the workplace or even societal kind of reflections of the women? Why is it still kind of an upward battle?
I think there are many factors, but mostly I see it that women in general are always at the bottom of the barrel. But for black women, it has always been worse. And whether we are white, black, brown, or regardless of our religion, what we need is more information and more tools that we can use to uplift ourselves. I think one of the big problems we have is in thinking that education is the same as knowledge. So even when you start a business, you're a woman who starts a business, or you have a good job and you are promoted, we still have to work at enlarging what we're doing because expectations are different. And I think what needs to be happening is that people who are in leadership positions need to think more broadly. So if I'm working with you on one area, I need to give you other tools that will enrich what you're doing so that the area that I'm working on, you will be able to accomplish what you're seeking. But quite often we are very narrow in our thinking. Another thing that I think holds us back as women is that we tend to look at symptoms instead of looking at root causes. So, for instance, when we are treated badly, we have to think that we are not respected. So we have to work on ourselves to build our self-esteem so that we will be able to speak up for ourselves. And we have to reach a stage where we realize that what we ought to get from people, regardless of its respect or equal pay or whatever, it's not going to happen because that's the right. We have to go the extra step to get what we are, what we're lacking.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So tell me, in terms of your wonderful book, Women Are Worthy, and thank you for leaving a copy with me, and I truly appreciate it. What would you say out of the book? Can you talk about 2 points of self-empowerment through your book that you would advise women?
Well, the main thing for me is education. Education is the key to everything. Education, knowledge is the key to success. My other thing that is so simple is I used to say to kids when I was in the classroom, if you don't read, you can't lead. And that's how we enlarge our knowledge so that we can move forward. When my ex-husband left me, there was no way I thought, I couldn't make it through university. I was teaching full-time, taking care of 4 kids, and most of my courses were done at night. And I used to get maybe 5 hours sleep. So you have to go that extra mile. And it's well worth it. But the educational part and the gaining of extra knowledge is there. Mm-hmm. You also need to have a support system. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We tend sometimes as women not to ask for help because we think it's a weakness. We must have a support system. We also need to have a plan, a goal for which we are striving. And whether it's to get a degree or to buy a house or to get a different kind of job, we must be clear on that goal. And then the next thing that we are to look at is a timeline, because a goal without a timeline is just a pipe dream. So those 2 things, what's your goal and what's your timeline, and who will be your support system?
Okay, excellent. Ettie, we spoke briefly about the state of affairs in terms of the educational system in Canada. and there's been some more of a development since our last conversation. What can you tell us now what's going on in terms of the education system in the pandemic?
Well, it's one of the sore spots because we hear more being talked about getting businesses and gyms open than talking about specific things that are being done in the educational system. And even the model that we have now where kids are going to school, some of them for 3 days while others go for 2 days, or being taught at home, that's very inadequate because to begin with, teachers were never trained to teach online. And students were never taught how to learn online. It's an entirely different thing from when you're in a classroom and you can ask questions and you can integrate your learning with what happened the day before. So what we have now is a situation where parents are tearing their hair out because they do not know what to do, especially when you consider that a lot of parents have to be working from home. So what I'm doing now, I have ER Education Consulting. It's my other business, and I'm getting a new website. And on it, I'll be putting a lot of work that parents and educators can download as to things that they can do to help the kids, not just with their learning, but also with some of the practices that they need to develop so that they can cope. The other thing, too, is that parents have to realize that just having a computer is not enough. The whatever electronic things they have at home must be able to access what is coming from the school board.
Okay. So there's a lot at play. We have teachers who are in a new environment, learning how to deliver teaching strategies online. So there's a whole new learning there. Parents are figuring out how to use technology to help their children through their educational developmental milestones, and they're also in a very interesting position where they're at home now working. So there's a lot of newness happening in terms of everyone's learning, and I find there's a little bit of kind of maybe apprehension or anxiety involved. What would you kind of advise to help us get through this all?
Well, what we need to do is to get at our politicians and the Ministry of Education, regardless of where you are, because what we're seeing are symptoms of neglect. And it's the ministry that determines what happens and what happened in the faculties of education in the universities. We also have to be clear about what we are expecting in the area of anti-racist education. And it's not enough for black people for instance, to go to the school boards and remind them that racism is a factor against our children. We already know that exists. We need to go to the school boards as taxpayers and say, as taxpayers, our kids are not getting what they should be getting. How much money do you have in your budget for anti-racist teaching of your school staff? Because unless we have that, then nothing will change. And what we have now is that a lot of people in the school board or on the job or wherever are being told we have an equity policy or a diversity policy. If you do not name it, you can't claim it, and you can't work with it. None of those things automatically take care of racism. So we have to hear what specific things are you doing to face racism and how it affects our kids. The other thing that I must say in terms of what happens in the classroom is that research has shown that 80% of people all over the world, regardless of race, regardless of age or whatever, who commit crimes did not complete high school. So they have no hope, and so it is easy for them to get hitched up with people who are giving them a quick buck for them to do illegal things. So when we're talking about getting more policemen, when we have the shootings or whatever by our young people, we need to look at the educational system. Is it preparing them to go out there, whether they go to university or not, or whether they're going to get a trade that will enable them to work and to earn a living lawfully.
Excellent. Ettie, I really appreciate your time sharing a little bit about your journey and also about the great resources that you have available in terms of women empowerment and also empowering families right across Canada and beyond through how to kind of navigate through this educational system. Where can people find you? Where can they buy the book, or where can they seek you out perhaps for a speaking engagement?
My book is on Amazon, and the title of my book is Women Are Worthy, Why Perch Like a Chick When You Can Soar Like an Eagle. My website for my business, Women Are Worthy, is www.womenrworthy.com. And my website, my email is Ettie, E-T-T-I-E, at womenrworthy.com. And I can be reached at any one of those places. I do coaching and I do group work, and I will be happy to assist anyone who gives me a call. And on my website, you can leave a message there, which I check every day to see if anyone is asking for assistance.
Fantastic. Ettie, thank you so much for your time. I know that you've got a lot on the go, but I do appreciate your pearls of wisdom, and I wish you all the best. And you know that I'm one of your cheerleaders, so if there's anything that you need in terms of assistance, I'm here for you as well.
Thanks very much, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and keep up the good work. It's so good that you're keeping people informed as to what is happening. And to the women out there, I say, keep on moving. Churchill said to his men when they were going to war, even if you find yourself in hell, keep moving. And if you want me to assist you in moving, just give me a call, because sometimes we just need someone else to give us those first 2 steps to cross over the bridge.
You got it. Thank you so much. You've been listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show with our very special guest, Ettie Rutherford, the founder of Women Are Worthy. Please check her out on her social media handles, her website. Wonderful work of just inspirational material. Again, you're listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show. Ettie, have a wonderful day. God bless you. Stay safe, and stay strong.
You too, Nikki. Keep praying for all of us.
You got it.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Thanks. Bye.